us on Facebook at Daunta A. Long. Follow us on Instagram at Daunta Long. Follow us on YouTube at Daunta A. Long. Thank you for tuning in to LongTalk.
Good evening, everyone, and once again, and as always, welcome to LongTalk. I am so happy and so delighted to have another opportunity to come into your places of viewership to offer you a sincere dialogue and meaningful discussion called LongTalk. And I'm grateful, and I'm hoping that you've enjoyed your day thus far on this wonderful Thursday. And I pray that you've had a great week thus far. And as we're bringing this week to a close, that you're anticipating another wonderful weekend. But before we get into the weekend, I always say each Thursday, we cannot go into the weekend without one more meaningful long talk. And so I am glad that you have taken the time to tune in and sign on and just come and be a part of this conversation. Thanks to so many of you who continue to watch us each Tuesday and Thursday, and for so many that are just signing on. And if, again, this is your first time, or if you're returning and haven't been here in a while, but you're back with us tonight, take a moment. I don't want to lose touch with you ever again. Please, if you're on Facebook, like this and share it if you possibly can. Perhaps you even want to start a watch party, because this meaningful dialogue is going to be beneficial to so many individuals. And so, if you will, if you're on Facebook, like and share. If you're on Instagram, please go ahead and follow. If you're on Twitter, please do the same. We're actively engaging each day in the Twitter community. And then lastly, if you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell so that you will not miss one long talk in the days to come. I want you to stay engaged in all things long talk. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate you for connecting with us in advance. So many of you have been connecting with us, and we are only just a few followers away or a few subscriptions away there on YouTube from our first goal of 100. And so if you have not done so on YouTube, please go there to Daunta Long and subscribe once again. Now, listen, I've been saying this now for the last few weeks, and I want to just continue to lift this up, that, yes, on this past Tuesday, the 22nd, we took a more deliberate and concentrated effort to make sure that we did everything within our power and with our influence to register individuals to vote. And while we had great success on Tuesday, listen, Tuesday was not the end. We're still in this active season of registering everybody that we possibly can to register to vote. So listen, you've got this weekend and you've got a few more days, and I just want to let you know you have until Monday, October the 5th. So every day time is ticking, and we don't want time to run out on your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, or anybody in your household, that college student that's home now, or perhaps has even gone back to their dormitories. And we want to make sure that we alert every single person that we can register to vote. And so, Long Talk audience, I'm always imploring you. I know you say, listen, Daunta, enough is enough. No, it is not. No, it is not. You and I must register every person that we can to get out and vote. And so, again, the last day to do that is Monday, October the 5th. So please, ma'am, please, sir, with all diligence, please talk to everybody you can and get them registered to vote. All right? All right. Well, I am happy again tonight to be back with you. Again, I say, and boy, we have received so many responses from our conversation, and those that were with us on Tuesday night. Thank you so much. Many of you engaged us and were talking back and sending in questions and so forth. And I applaud you for your active engagement. And so much so that we asked our guest on Tuesday night to come back and share with us. And she conceded to come. And so I'm delighted that she moved a few things around in her schedule. And because it was very impromptu, somewhat extemporaneous. But listen, she did it. She's back here tonight. Listen, I'm just going to say it tonight. I went through her full bio on Tuesday, but she's the wellness coach. She's the one that's helping us clear our headspace, move around the clutter in our mind, and making sure that we are on the right track. And tonight, she's going to continue to help us navigate through all of the situations that we are going through and will face in the days to come. Long Talk audience, please help me welcome the wellness coach, Miss Monica Jackson. God bless you and thank you.
Hey, Dante, I am doing wonderful. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. I hope you've had a fabulous day, and I'm glad to be joining back with you again. Yeah, change. Oh boy, and is there a lot of change in the atmosphere? That's the one thing that says, yeah, that's the one thing that stays constant is change. You know, it's change. Change is all around us, Dante. Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. Sure. Mm, hmm. Well, well, a couple things. Change takes us out of our comfort zone. It kind of disrupts that normal human pattern, and change is good. All change is always not good at sometimes, but to change, if you fail to change, then you put yourself at a disadvantage. And we see that a lot with companies when they fail to innovate from the brick and mortar now that everything is going into a digital space. But change alone could be very, very good. Sometimes it can be scary, but you have to embrace change and you have to see the value in change. Sometimes I, tell people, try to understand what's in it for me. Look at the bigger picture when it comes to change. Again, all change is not good, but not to change can be bad. So you got to have that level of flexibility. You got to have that level of adaptability when it comes to change. Now, here comes COVID-19. COVID-19 have taken us all out of our comfort zone. It has flipped our world as we know it upside down. When we started this year, we had no idea about social distancing, how that would transform to social isolation, how that would transform to just a new world order of how we're doing things, Dante. So when we look at change, the human mind sees it as, oh my God, you know. But if you can get on the other side of change, you can look back and say, you know what, that was a great, great, great growth curve. So again, having yourself open to change, it's a beautiful thing. Sometimes it's scary, but it's a beautiful thing. Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Yeah. 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 To make the change. And sometimes you have to, when making a change, you have to listen to the end user, which is that customer. And it was the same fate of border bookstores, blockbusters. Blockbusters thought, everybody would want to come in and rent the DVDs and stuff. And then Redbox came along and showed us a whole different way to say, hey, look, you could go grocery shopping and here's a kiosk and you could drop it in 4 or 5 days later. Then there was another revolution that happened. Here come Netflix. Netflix say, hey, you can watch a movie while you're on the airplane right on your phone. And so the change keeps evolving. And so when companies don't move with the signs of time and move with the demands of the end user, then they become obsolete. And we call it going out of business. Yeah, yeah. Best intentions. There's so many different types of change: transformational change, transitional change, technology change. I was in just today. I was in. I'm getting ready for a golf tournament in the morning, so I had to go to Dick's Sporting Good, and I normally can go to the pro section and pick up what I want, but now they have like this little kiosk where you have to put in all your information, and and first I was like, can I have a manager? Because I'm used to walking in. I know where the tennis section is. I know where the shoes are. I can go straight in the store. But change, it's the change that we have to embrace, and it's a good thing because guess what? Now, once I got accustomed to it, hey, I actually like that system a whole lot better. Yeah, it's. Mm, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I know, but change, we see it every day, and we've been seeing it so much, Dante, especially during this whole pandemic and the whole contactless systems, pizza, Instacart. I mean, it's really a new world order that I want to encourage our listeners tonight to really embrace change. change is a good thing. Sometimes it takes us out of our comfort zone. But again, if we can get on the other side of change, we can look back and say, you know what? That was growth. I learned a new skill, or I can add more to my resume because I was the one on the job that went the distance, or did some extra training. A lot of things are, and I know we're going to get into the whole workplace piece, but there's so many changes within our workplace as well. But it's change all around us. It's the one thing in life that stays constant. Yes. Yes. Well, now, listen, Dante, not only do they deliver, you could just pick up your phone. You don't even, and through apps, you can order everything. And sometimes some restaurants will save your favorite orders and say, would you like to add to this order? So again, you're talking about change. Everyday change. Every day that you wake up, you should be expecting change, embracing change, loving change. It's just like a diet. Sometimes we got to change our diet. We got a report from the doctor, or we know what's in sometimes in that family line, and so there's a change there. You have to embrace it. You got to get up 30 minutes earlier to exercise. So now you got to split that meditation time maybe in half so you can get some physical exercise in. But it's all about change, and change is good. Absolutely. For businesses, most definitely. I've done a lot of studies on businesses, in my academic studies. And the two things that really plague a lot of companies, especially small businesses, is that they fail to change and they fail to listen to the end user, which is their customer. That happened with Border Books. They didn't think that Kindle was going to be on the rise. Kindle didn't think that Amazon was going to be on the rise. But again, you have to be able to follow the end user, anticipate change, anticipate change. And every day, you and your team, how can we change? How can we, if you're in the clergy or in the faith base, how can we service our parishioners better? How can we make an awesome praise and worship experience? How can we make sure that we have a children's service that ministers to them? How can we let our discipleship class grow and morph into something that really touch the heart of people? So it's all about change. If you see a church on decline, if you see a business on decline, it's because somebody failed not to change. Yep. Yeah. Amazon. Yep. Right. Well, studies show that Asian countries are 10 years ahead of America. So while we're like on, what is it, maybe notebook 10 or iPhone 11 or 12 or 13, they're probably like on iPhone 20. So we still have a lot to catch up. I mean, God bless America. I love our country. But in terms of change, we got to do some leaps and bounds to really, really help to catch up on there. So it just is just that point. Can you hear me not nice and clear? You can. Oh, okay. Overnight. Yeah. Always change. And really always change, and then knowing how to manage change. For organizations, change management is very important. And there are some keys to when you are going through a change or experiencing change, and we all will. such as if you are a business owner, you get ready to make a big change, like maybe a big layoff, or a facility is closing or relocating, or sending the labor over across seas, whatever the case may be. But there's also a tack and management where how you can introduce change where you don't drive people over the edge. So say for instance, be watchful and listening to your team, listening to their concerns. I used to work for UPS long time ago, maybe like 20 years ago, and we used to have something called donut and coffee, and it would allow the entry level, which was I worked in claims, and so we had the opportunity to talk to mid management about our concerns with no executives around, and that was the best. When I tell you, it really helped transform our department because we were able to have that listening, management was able to have that listening ear. We were able to address some of our concerns and then get the results that we were looking for. So when you're talking about changing, major changes in company, you have to know and you have to listen, and listen to fix things, not just listen just to hear a person out, but listen with the intention of, I hear what you're saying, and within my power, I want to impact change. So we effectively impact our bottom line. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Absolutely. No matter what the cause of change is, it affects all employees emotionally, mentally. Employees are having to deal with a lot. The thing of the unknown, where the hours are going to be cut back. How am I going to provide for my family? My kids are in private school. I mean, just the quality of life itself, because of COVID-19 and because there's so much civil unrest and economic turndown. You have to be, if your company is going to thrive, then you really want to take care of your most precious commodity, and that's your employees. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of your customers. If you take care of your customers, they'll take care of your bottom line. If you take care of your bottom line, they will always forge a strong path of brand equity that will forge itself into legacy that for generations you and your grandkids will be eating for decades. So one just impacts the other. But the whole spectrum of mental wellness, mental health, especially when it comes down to employees. You want to take, for those who own a business, whether you have one employee, two, three, four, five, or six, you want to take care of them. They need time off, if possible, give them the time off. If they need new training, let them have new training. I was talking to a friend of mine, Dante, who is actually a dean. And it was so funny because, traditionally all the professors were teaching, in the traditional classroom on campus. But now they had to go to distant learning. And she began to share with me, she was like, Mom, you'll be amazed that some of the professors were just really hesitant in learning the distant learning platform. Well, guess what? They now almost become in the unsuitable file because you'll get some nice graduates that's coming straight from grad school or just have finished their PhD and job security. So change, you have to change no matter what industry you work in. You have to be able to change. Now, Dante, we're moving into automation. Everything is automated. How we pay our bills. I just had a doctor's appointment yesterday. It was right on my phone. They sent me a link. They're like, "Oh, Miss Jackson, how you doing?" I mean, 20 minutes. So I'm like, you mean to tell me I don't have to drive down to Midtown? So again, change, change, change. Change is all around us, and it's a good thing. Yeah. You just need to know how to navigate it And once you navigate it, the terrain of understanding, because everything is going to change. We have changes in our churches. Churches go through that metamorphosis where, people that started with you maybe 15 years or 10 years, they move on. That's change. That's change, or if you get a new pastor, that's change. Everything is the inevitable. And so many people, I want to talk about this tonight because so many people, they resist change, because it really brings you into that comfort of unknowing. But it's a good thing. It's a real good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. The power of change. Yeah. And you know what? If you're going to stay healthy, if you're going to stay competitive, you got to respond to change. Yeah, you got to respond to positively to change. Nobody's out to hurt you. Just because we're eliminating this department or this position, it's called change. For the CEO, it's called growth. It's called scaling down. It's called getting the organization in a lean place where stakeholders, especially if you're a publicly traded company, you are answered to those shareholders. So you have to make sure that your organizational design is going to get you in a profitable state. If not in the first quarter, I mean, I know I'm talking business, but in the second, third, or fourth quarter. And it comes with change, lots of change. And sometimes, especially if it's a layoff, Dante, it doesn't feel good. But a layoff could be a good thing because it gives up people opportunity to go back and reinvent themselves, go to school, take up new trades, take up new hobbies, or just simply spend time with family. But change is good. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's how Uber started. Uber started out of a crisis. When you look at Gap, the store Gap, the guy who started Gap and Levi Jeans, it started out of a crisis and him wanting to have a change in the way they did his jeans. They didn't like the way they sold his denim jeans, so he went in and start sewing it. Um, Uber Uber started as a crisis, but yes, what happens when you are pressure? I call it pressurized when you are receiving some type of pressure, whether it's financial pressure, it puts you into a mode of being creative. It helps you to look what the gifts on the inside, because what a job will do, like, a job will give you a paycheck, but I often tell people you cannot leave a job to your children, but you can leave a business. That's number one. You cannot leave a job to your children or the next generation, but you can leave a business, right? That's number one. Number two, when you're talking about change and being pressurized, you have to, when you don't have any way to feed your kids or to pay that tuition, you're going to look inside and say, what can I do? What am I good at? So, yes, to answer your question, am I good at baking cakes? Am I good at cleaning? Am I good at being a virtual assistant? It will cause creativity to come alive on the inside of you. And coming alive, you begin to solve problems. So, for those who bake cakes, you're solving a sweet problem, because everybody, whether it's good or bad sweets, everybody likes a sweet. If you solve a problem, then you will always have a job, right? And so when you look at crisis, that's why I was like, although we have lost a lot of people in this pandemic, I still see the good in it. I still see so many businesses. I still see so many families that have come together and been able to spend quality time. Because if not, we would be out the door 8 hours, 9 hours. We come back in, we eat. How's everybody doing? Then we go to bed, and we do the same routine. But our families are falling apart. So again, although our world has changed because of the COVID, it's still a good thing. You have to see the good. And people are like, well, Monica, how can you see good when people are dying by themselves? We will get to the other side of it. We're going to get to the other side of it, But yes, because it brings pressure, when your back is up against a wall, you will think of a problem to solve. Whether I don't care if it's doing lawn, I don't care if it's doing people's taxes, where you start a bookkeeping company. It allows you to reach on the inside and say, what can I do that I could capitalize or monetize? My friends always like, Monica, you like that word, monetize your gift or your creative or your genius. There's such genius on the inside of us, but we have to really tap into it. And you know what, Dante, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes a job can make you lazy because a job can make you lazy because it's routine. You come in 8:05. You're gonna stop by Susie's desk. Hey, girl, how you doing? You're gonna mosey on down to your cubicle or your office. Oh, Ted got softball practice. Oh, I'm part of this, and right, it's the same thing. And then most people that show up to their job don't like their job. So by the time you download that, as opposed to they don't even like their boss. So you download that equation. And so when we're talking about productivity, that's why I said this pandemic, believe it or not, it probably saved a lot of our jobs, meaning that we were able to reformalize how we doing things and, be a little more accountable on Zoom calls and stuff like that. But, I think that this whole working at home and it's workplace change, but it's a good thing because some jobs can make you lazy. And so back to answering that question, yes, it will drive you to being very creative that you start your own business. Most businesses are birthed out of a crisis. Yeah. So most are. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome.
Are you broken and wounded because of life situations? Situations that were out of your control, or maybe even some that you've even caused yourself. Nonetheless, we must learn in this life that when life gives you lemons, we must make lemonade. Introducing the Bounce Back Effect, How to Soar in the Midst of Problems by Dr. Carl M. Barnes. In this book, you will learn 5 important principles that will teach you how to soar in every situation that life throws your way. Inspirational author, powerful motivator, and leadership coach, Dr. Carl M. Barnes is changing lives across the world. As a retired commander after serving 35 years in the United States Navy, he is renowned for his powerful training and coaching of executive leaders. This book will inspire you and give you the tools you need to elevate you into your true destiny. Order your copy today. The Bounce Back Effect, How to Soar in the Midst of Problems by Dr. Carl M. Barnes. Available right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. 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 Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Absolutely. And I want to also, before I give those tips, also want to share just some principles that employers and employees can really take heed to, because I know it's the whole big thing of working from home, and really having to change the way we do business, the way we report in. And so, a few things I want to just share with you. Number one, for those who are employers, have a watchful and a listening ear. I talked about it before we went to break a little bit, but pay attention to the actions of your employees. Each employee is going to react in their own way. Some keep their worries and fears, and some people keep what's going on with them emotionally pent up, and that's somewhat fine until they're ready to talk about it. But as the employer, or as the CEO, director, decision making, I want to encourage you, number one, to watch and listen, so you'll know what's going on in your organization. You don't want to hear about it on Facebook. You want to be a trusting leader, or a trusting pastor or minister. If you can get people to trust you, that is leadership in itself. When you can get people to trust you, it gains confidence, it gains influence. So, as employers, you definitely want people to trust you. Number two, you want to show genuine concern. I'm concerned about you having now to homeschool Chucky and Melissa. I'm very concerned how those dynamics are working, because I'm expecting you to have these reports and have different things done and lead your department, but understanding. So I think also showing, employees that managers understand, although you're guiding the team, but understanding. Number three, you want to fix what you can. So if that means giving them extra time or being more flexible with time, then, if it's in your power, again, we're still talking about change, and be positive. There's enough negativity. All we got to do is turn on the news. I think sometimes we become news overload, Sometimes take that mental break. Be grateful for what's going on around you, for what you have. Sometimes just being grateful for the simple things, food on your table, a job, you know, just different things. If you set your heart to being just having that gratefulness going about the day, you'll find that your day will go along smooth. The kids won't get on your nerves so easily. You'll have more bandwidth to deal with the day. And that's what we all need. We need more bandwidth. We need more patience in our bandwidth to deal with what is going on. The next thing is you want to position yourself as an employer to be a coach, to train, to prepare. During this COVID, it is the best time for those who are leading organizations or leading a department to get your people retrained. Get systems up and going. Look at how you're going to, when the market opens up, because it's going to open back up, but how you're going to hit the ground running. Make sure you ask the right questions of your team. Make sure that there's accountability. And I know I'm going on, but there's just so much to talk about. But when we talk about also Dante, just looking at the whole COVID-19, when I tell you it has turned our world upside down, the first thing we have to do, number one, is address fear. Fear is plaguing all of our lives. I mean, it is, we're fearful to pump gas. We're fearful to go in the grocery store. And I've been there too. So I'm smiling because I'm talking about myself, really. But just being very fearful, you have to overcome some of that fear. And how to overcome some of that fear during this COVID is turn that TV off. Just have your certain times that you're going to listen to TV, especially, certain ones that are feeding what's going on. So, okay, we all know about the Breonna Taylor case. So we already know our society is getting ready to be injected, with protests. And these are people that have a right and they just want to be heard. So when we're talking about the everyday people, you got to overcome fear. You got to know that you're going to get on the other side of this. You have to be grateful. You have to use this time to reinvent yourself. And I'm going to be quiet because I know I could just go on and on and on. So those are things that when you're talking about every day, take up a new hobby. Get in the kitchen, look up a recipe, enjoy your family, start gardening, plant some flowers, find your happy space within COVID-19 or in the pandemic, not COVID-19, but in the pandemic. Find that happy place, that happy space, and you'll find that your life, things will start to turn. Now is the great time to start a book club. Why? Because everybody is home. Now it's time to start a cooking club. Why? Because everybody is home and everybody loves to eat and everybody has to eat. So there are so many things that you can do to make sure that you are maximizing your time. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Right. Yeah, I received, yeah, I received a few messages that they couldn't hear you as well. So, but I hear you loud and clear. Okay. All right. So again, during this pandemic, like I was saying, you have to find, if you want to take up a new hobby, photography, you can dance lessons, you can find all kind of things on YouTube as it relates to, morphing into a new hobby. You'll find that you won't really just focus on the quarantine and where you can go and what you can't do, but rather focus on what you can do and what is in your power. What is in your power to change right now? Now is a great time to get in shape. And I'm talking to myself. Because why? We are home. We are working from home. And so we have a little more extra time. I see a lot of people that are turning their garages into fitness centers or turning their patios to fitness centers, which is a tremendous idea. Why? Because you got to be home anyway. We all have to get in shape. Hello, Monica. So it's great. It's great. Everyday living can really be increased during this pandemic if you see it as a great opportunity. Okay, so let's talk about the whole issue that a lot of our cities are still quarantined, or we're in different phases. Phase three of reopening, phase two of reopening. But guess what, guys? It's not the end of the world, and things will change. Things will change. Yeah. So, I want to talk to you a little more, next time I'm on, about workplace change, changes in your relationships. There's all types of change. Change is a universal topic, and change will always be around us. It's how we, number one, embrace change, how we navigate change, and then how we see change as a growth mechanism. Yeah, I can't hear. Yeah, so, as I was saying, Dante, you just have to reinvent yourself during this change. You have to know that change is the inevitable, and love change. A lot of times we go through changes in our body, ladies especially. We go through different phases, and you have to, as you age, we all have to embrace those changes, because guess what? It's going to happen. So as it's happening, we have to embrace it and know that it is part of our life cycle. All types of changes that happens around us, even it relates to sports. One day we have a great head coach. Hello to Coach Prime. I'm so happy to know that he is with Jackson State University. We're happy about that. Yay. But change is good if you see it as something that you can grow from. So again, I want to encourage you tonight, as we've talked about navigating change, how change work, the different types of change, why change is good, why not to change can be bad. We've also talked about the different levels of change, when you can expect change, and what you need to do, especially in the workplace, when changes are occurring, how to make your team accountable, how you're to be accountable to your team when you're getting ready to face a change, whether you're getting ready to move the manufacturing company to Iowa, or you're getting ready to downsize. That is major change in the workplace. What you need to do is make sure you're communicating that to the people that you've hired to get you to that point. So again, there's so much that we could say on change. I consider change a gift from God, because it's constantly changing. Everything change. It's the one thing in life, people, that will always change. I certainly hope you've gotten something out of this tonight. And the next time we're on, again, we're going to be talking about relational change. We're going to be talking about a little more about workplace change and what that looks like. We're going to be talking about transformational change. And that's a little more on the spiritual side. But I certainly hope you've had an opportunity to grab hold of some nugget, some wisdom tonight as it relates to change.
Absolutely, Monica. Absolutely. So sorry for the technical difficulties that we had a little earlier, but you were spitting so much wisdom and knowledge, as one of the listeners was saying. You're spitting so much wisdom and knowledge,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for releasing that to our listening audience tonight. So many have already commented about how wonderful this dialogue has been. I am extremely grateful that you've taken the time to just drop the wisdom on us. And I know, again, as we said earlier, so many people are in a time of transition and not knowing where to go, who to run to, who to trust. As you said earlier, so many of us don't know who to trust. And I just want to say to everybody who may be watching, if you've enjoyed this dialogue, I want you to please take a moment and go to Monica's website, which is monicajacksonwellness.com. If you go to her website, you can learn more about what she has been doing. Many of these tips that she shared tonight, I'm sure she's going to download them so that you can read them more in depth, and just all of the information that she is helping everyday people, as you saw moments ago, or as she did a half hour ago, just really concentrated on all of the business owners. Business owners tonight, boy, you sure got a good counseling session with the wellness coach. Man, some of you all need to go to her website and see about how it is that you can sign up to continue to get one-on-one counseling and group counseling. Monica does so much with CEOs. She does a lot with teams, does a lot with pastors, does a lot with authors. Just so many classifications of people that Monica has helped and is helping. And so if you want to be added to that list, again, please go to monicajacksonwellness.com. Monica, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So sorry I had difficulties with my audio here tonight, but I hope that did not take away from, and I know it did not take away, because so many people are still commenting on social media saying how you have really helped them tonight with all of this change. So I guess it's fair to say things are going to continue to change, right?
Yeah, things will continue to change. It's the one thing in life that's constant. Hey, thank you so much, Daunta, for this invite, and to the listening audience. I look forward to connecting with you in the near future. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Also, I just want to say to everybody, you can reach out to Monica on social media at MONI Jackson. MONI Jackson. Just reach out to her on Instagram or follow her here on Facebook, as she does not as much as she does on the website, but does a very fair amount on social media, and it can really help you. It has helped me. Boy, I was just thinking about that piece when you talked earlier about just, while I'm believing that I'm ahead of the curve, there's somebody on the other side embracing change, and that's why we can never become comfortable. Boy,
yeah,
Monica, I feel like I owe you $1,000 just for that tidbit.
Yeah. It's change, everyday change. Things are changing around us every single day. And so, especially in the world of business and in ministry too, the best of both worlds.
The best
of
both worlds.
Change.
And so many people have said this, Monica, and I know you got to go, but that the church at large is generally 25 years behind the culture. And
yeah, absolutely. And we saw that really, it was magnified during this pandemic, where churches, case in point, were outfitted to do a lot of online giving, had things in place, as opposed to those who didn't. They saw that drop, because things were not in place. And again, change. So especially in that technology space, those are who operate in the faith-based arena. Listen, every tech conference there is in the state of Georgia or surrounding states or wherever you're at, even if you're internationally, you should be there learning the newest technology, or if not, bring in a consultant that can make sure that you stay light years ahead of the game.
That's good, Monica. That's good. And that's why so many, again, I need to say this one more time. You need to go to Monica Jackson Wellness. So many of my business owner friends, you're watching this. You're going to be watching this in the days to come. You've been looking for somebody who can help you navigate this change. It's been on you to make the necessary changes for your business. Some of you own stores. Some of you own clothing lines. So many of you are in logistics and in so many different fields. You need a coach. Mm-hmm. Quite candidly, let me say that to all my business owners. You need a coach. Time is out for you out here grinding on your own, right? Out here making it happen, just doing what you know to do. You need somebody who knows more that can help you. And I really believe, Monica, you are the person. So many testimonies, so many business leaders, so many pastors, so many just people of all walks of life will testify that you have really helped them and helped them navigate through the change, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's something I love to do, help people and help organizations really streamline and get them where they need to be. Basically, look at strategy, look at the blueprint of organizational design, whether it's ministry or whether it's in corporate, but really, really, and you got to have a catalyst to help you get to the change you're looking for. So you got to have the machinery, I like to call it.
Wow.
So yeah, you got to have the machinery. When we look at those Fortune 500 companies, some of them are silver spoon kids, some businesses been around, but there are many entrepreneurs. They just put the right people, like Warren Buffett. You just put the right people around you, the right coaches, the right team. You don't need a lot of them. Steve Jobs bless his soul, only met with three. He had 22,000 employees, but he only met with 3 people out of his compound every day, which was his finance person, was his chief innovative officer, and his engineering officer. Believe it or not, only 3 people out of all those employees. Why? Because he wanted to make sure that was part of his machinery. Mm-hmm. We're still using iPhone products today, aren't we? So that was built into the model, you know.
Anticipating the next one that will come out so we can have it during the holidays, right?
Absolutely.
And we're going to be standing in line waiting on those iPhones and next generation iPads and all of what
camping outside. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The whole 9 yards. And it was anticipated. Success, Daunta, is very intentional. It's intentional. You know, every entrepreneur can say, yeah, I want to move more inventory, or I want to, or get rid of inventory and automate, what I'm doing. But all you have to do is put the right machinery in place so you can make money while you're sleeping. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Likewise.
Okay. Thank you.
Friends, what a great night. Again, I sincerely apologize. We had a lot of technical difficulties. I know it's inclement weather here, and it played a part in some of our equipment malfunctioning. But I pray that the meat of the message that Ms. Monica Jackson shared with you was beneficial. And please sift through it. We're going to make some edits. Going to make sure that we get the meat of tonight's dialogue and reformat it so that it can really be a blessing to so many people that need to hear it. So thank you so much for your patience, all of you that stayed on and watched with us, even though we had the difficulties. I sincerely thank you, and I apologize once again for all. But listen, the show must go on. I want you to enjoy the weekend. I want you to make sure that you have fun and make sure that you are responsible. Next Tuesday, we're going to be right back talking to Professor Natariel Powell. She's got a wonderful books about self-discovery. She's going to be talking about understanding most of the treasures that you and I have within us, and how she discovered the secret in making sure that you and I discover the treasures that lie within. And so you want to be here Tuesday night as she helps us in this discovery process. All right. Again, thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing everybody on Tuesday at 7:30. Take care.
Follow us on Facebook at Daunta A. Long. Follow us on Instagram at Daunta Long. Follow us on YouTube at Daunta A. Long. Thank you for tuning in to Long Talk.